This is the Pro Football Chase podcast, a podcast that has featured interviews with Rams wide receiver Robert Woods.
To reach 1,000 yards, and last year, unfortunately, I got hurt midway in the season. But other than that, just working and grinding to get to this point, and finally broke it with a lot of games left.
Packers wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Just the fact that we got all-pro on the other side of the ball, in Devontae. So when you got a guy like that, that's just going to get the main focus. Obviously, people start to know my name a little bit after I made a few plays here and there.
Broncos offensive guard Ronald Leary.
It would either have to be a counter or a pin and pull play when we get on the edge and run. I think it's always impressive when big guys can get out that stance and move and hit somebody.
And rising stars Dalton Risner, Charles Amenahu, and Jawan Williams. This is a podcast that offers player perspectives from some well-decorated veterans, including T.J. Hushmanzada.
And people will say, "Oh, well, is Dak Prescott a franchise quarterback?" Look at his record. It tells you he is. Oh, he has a great defense. He has Ezekiel Elliott. You tell me a quarterback in the entire NFL that's not Tom Brady that does more with less.
Game previews, recaps, and analysis. Turn the volume up. The chase is on, and the chase is live. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into the Pro Football Chase podcast. It's Isaac Saenz with you. Joining me for an interview today is Northern Iowa defensive lineman Seth Thomas. Thomas is getting ready for the NFL draft after finishing up his senior season there at UNI. So, Seth, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. It's nice weather outside and everything's rolling smooth, so I can't say much about it. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, brother. It's been a good day and looking forward to chatting some football with you here on the podcast. So I want to get this interview started by talking about the football program there at Northern Iowa, Seth. What can you say about it and how it has impacted you in a positive way?
Oh, there's a lot of words you can say about it, but if you watch a game, the first thing you're going to say is they're a stout football team and their defense is strong. I helped lead the defense this year to ending us up in the top-ranked 5th in the nation, coming short of the national championship qualifying rounds. You'll see a lot of hard-nosed football, a lot of athletes on the field flying around trying to make plays, and that's the first thing you're going to see when you watch a UNI football game. And from competitors in the league and playing other people, they're going to say they're the one team that you're worried about playing because you have no clue what you're going to get from them. And we're always in the top portion of our Missouri Valley League, along with NDSU and SDSU, getting fighting each other all the time. And you'll even hear from coaches that transfer around. It's a game to look forward to.
Gotcha. Now, how did you enjoy playing for head coach Mark Farley?
Coach Farley, he's been around ever since I've been recruited, so we haven't had any changes. And, when we were during the recruiting process, he resembled a lot of my father and just kind of hard-nosed, understanding, but just trying to push the needle just a little bit more each time. And so it wasn't a big change for me besides just someone that can consistently push you. And that helped me a lot in my career, and always trying to adapt, change, and see the little things. He's always about the little things, making the big improvements later down the line, and that's a lot of things that I see in the same. So it was a great mentor as a head coach to move along, and then following coaches with Coach Bryce Pop. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, Defensive Player of the Year. The guy knows what he's talking about. He knows what's on the D-line, what happens, and the cool part about it, he's not only about football, but he's about life. So he taught me a lot, and I'm very appreciative for it.
Now, Seth, you started every game in your senior season, but one game that stood out to me was what you did against the 21-ranked Iowa State Cyclones. 5 total tackles, 1 sack, a couple of pass defenses. So on that game, going up against the bigger opponent and still dominating, how do you feel like that game showcased your ability to thrive in the NFL?
I mean, that game was it was a fun last hurrah with the bigger school. The thing is our offense even came out and we were young. Some guys first starts making big improvements. I'm taking them to triple overtime out of the year, coming off the camp with some players. You're just like, wow. Excuse me. You got a big impact there. And I mean, before the game, we were there, and I just remember being out there on the field, just looking around, and it was one of those things that it's just like, wow, this is cool, this is awesome. I'm very appreciative of it. I'm ready to get that little fear tear in your eye and just ready to go. And as the game started to progress, it was like, wow. I mean, this is the first year we played Iowa State where it's not scorching hot and the sun's blaring on us. It was a beautiful day to be out there, and the game just went back and forth. The momentum's kept changing. It was just a fun game to be a part of. And going into that, I had plenty of time with film studies and understanding, getting to be myself. So I felt really happy with the outcome of that game. Obviously, I mean, no one's ever happy with the loss, but it definitely told us a lot about our team.
Seth, UNI finished with a 10-5 record in 2019, made a run to the FCS semifinals. Talk about one moment or one game of your senior season that stands out to you.
Whew, I've been asking that question quite a bit here, and it's one of those things they ask a lot, like your favorites and stuff. And I'm a terrible favorite person. There's always something that I can pull out of everything that I look forward to, just bringing the brightness in the dark. And so what I'm doing there is just each game has its own little memory for me, whether it's a big play by myself, a game changing play, or just plays by other in the atmosphere of the game with the fans, the crowd, the coaches, and the amount of fun and joy it brings. It's just one of those things. I mean, there's things that I've done with in the league, blocking passes, taking pick sixes, recovering, causing fumbles, hitting guys pretty dang hard, making that ooh hit and those blocks. Each game had a pull away from each, but I would say that Iowa State was a fun game, just like you said there. But there's other multiple ones like South Dakota State where it was just balls to the walls and see what the outcome could be. And there's plays that I made that I felt like helped change the tone of the game, and that's just a really happy moment to be a part of a player and a part of a team.
Gotcha. Now, at 6'6", 265 pounds is what you're listed at on the UNI website. Not sure if that's changed. What are some of your strengths as a defensive lineman?
Some of my strengths as a defensive lineman would be just from hearing from other people and coaches and having them watch film is just my versatility of things. I mean, there's times you'll see me playing down all over the nose tackle, the D end, to rush in, to almost like outside linebacker prototype. There's times you'll see me dropping into coverage. There's times you'll see me fitting on the run, reading plays up and down. One of those things is just getting off the edge pretty quick and getting the hands up, even though you see a lot of RPOs now. And you'll see that I'll actually help point out points on the defense where I'm seeing the offense set up where there's a high possibility of a play to come, with that experience and Coach Pop giving me the small keys here and there and studying them with him. And so basing off of that, you're just going to see an all-around player just being smart and very athletic with the ability to make plays on the move.
How can he be a factor in both the run and the pass game? And my second question to this, Seth, is there a certain defensive alignment that you feel the most comfortable playing in?
Oh, that's kind of a loaded question. I mean, over the years, we've played a 4-3 and a 3-4, and I've played multiples of positions at it. And I'll be the first to tell you, I mean, I had to learn it firsthand, and luckily enough, I had, again, Coach Pop with me. But moving from a 5 to a 3 tech is just a huge game changer. I mean, you're changing up your mentality of your hands, your speed, your velocity, your just all-out strength, and your first step's a big deal. Everything just happens so much closer to the ball, and a lot of the times it's quick pushes and pulls and moves like that, where you're towards the end, it's just a lot of speed and velocity and just trying to be violent. So we're just even at the college level, that's huge, drastic changes that you got to make just in your game plan. So that made things where, your defensive end outside linebacker, you're like, oh, okay, I got a little bit of a feeling for it. You're just like, that's not too hard of a change besides just putting yourself in the right alignment zones and doing your pure athleticism. And then when you're moving down to like a tackle or something, you're just talking about just staying low and getting around. So you have to practice that multiple times before and after practice if you know you're going to play at that league. And going to the NFL, I mean, that's a huge change. I don't know if you can see a lot of dudes doing that, especially anymore, changing from all the way to the inside to going all the way outside. But once it comes to that, it's wherever they see me fit is where I'm going to fit, and I'm going to dedicate all I got to it. I mean, it may be on the defense, it may be on the offensive side, it may be on special teams. Whatever it is, I'm on there and I'm giving it my all.
That's good to hear. Now, what can you bring to an NFL locker room? What type of teammate are you?
I'm more the teammate that sits back and kind of watches a little bit. That'll reach out to guys in need. Honest, just trustful, respectful, caring. I'm not a guy who's a showboater. Give guys credit where they're at, and I'm not scared to ask a question. So you're going to see more of a old school personality instead of someone hopping around, dancing in the locker room, having a good time. I'm still having a good time, and I love watching them do it. It's just my personality is I'm here for a job, and I'm getting the job done. And then after that, it's just relationships. And with a football team, you have a relationship that you can't explain to somebody else who's even not a football player. Even if it's from a different sport, you can't explain it because you just go through so much ups and downs, adversity, pain, and people come back from it. You'll see, even through a college career, you'll see hundreds of dudes come in and you see hundreds of people leave, and sometimes you don't even notice them there and gone. So it's a business and it's a job and it's work and it's a lifestyle. It's everything. And so it's hard to explain that. So when I'm there, I just want to be focused and get the job done how it wants to be done. And at the end of the day, just enjoy every moment of it because it's not going to last my entire life.
What type of study habits do you possess, Seth? How do you help enhance your knowledge of your opponents?
I've been extremely thankful that even with Coach Pop pointing out things that are next level of understanding the offense, understanding the game, understanding where people are lining up, where mentalities are. I mean, he would bring us sheets that he spent multiple hours outside the job putting together percentages of where guys line up, which guy lines up there, and what the percentage of them are. And I mean, there's so many. I wish my wine was like a dried up sponge and ready for all the moisture it can get. But he gave us the top rated ones and it helped a ton. So in film study, I'm just looking for technique and formations. I mean, you're seeing each guy gets their job done in a different way, shape, and form. So you're seeing all the way from hand twitches to how tight the fist is, all the way up to where a guy lines up inside the hash, outside the hash as he's standing up. Is the quarterback flicking his hand before a snap? I mean, there's tons of information out there. It's just a lot of studying and basically guessing what you can find and then making sure it's true or not.
Is there a current or former NFL defensive lineman that you model your playing style after?
There's not really one. Everyone gets their things done in a different way. And I mean, before games, I'll catch myself watching film of Vaughn or Watt or someone at that point. I mean, there's times where, I wait for the one day to Coach Bryce Pop to show me his highlight. But I've watched a few of his games. Lucky enough, you can find them on YouTube. And I mean, his ability then still reflects on some ability today. I mean, you just see amazing talent out of there, and he teaches you so many cool things that you can make work even today's game. And so he shows you a lot. But more your prototype guys. I mean, growing up, you're looking for the Jared Allens and like Derek Thomas and the younger ones when I was younger. It'd be the older ones now. But there's just always, you're going to see like 49ers defensive line. I mean, there's players everywhere just making plays, but at the end of the day, you're seeing a part of play of each player and another player. So it's just kind of seeing which ones are getting that prototype in and how I can use that in my game and take a little twist of it.
Seth, with your pro day coming up, who are you training with?
Right now, I'm training actually with a few of our players, competitors. I got some buddies back home that are at some other schools that are training that we meet up every once in a while and compete with each other. Even like Ryan Willis with the Texas Tech, Virginia Tech, with those guys. And meet back home with like a Mark Semino too, and he's helped me transform into this mobile player that has a lot of athleticism and timing drills. and I'll meet back up with him right before I actually have a combine. But we'll be training. I've been training here at the University of Northern Iowa. We have a dome and we have our own weight room, and then we'll be training over at the Cedar Valley Sportsplex, where actually our combine will be on the March 24th at 2:00. And so we'll be training that and a few of our players and sending out film and studies to other people, getting their views on things. And since I'm still enrolled in all or 17 credits a class right now, it makes it more difficult to outbranch somewhere else. But I feel more than confident being here. I mean, even players like David Johnson were here, and he had his showcase at Cedar Valley Sportsplex too.
Yeah, and as well as Doris Fountain and DeAndre Hall, some other former Northern Iowa players there. Well, Seth, I know you got your hands full, brother, in class. You got one coming up, so I appreciate you taking the time to join me for an interview. I wish you nothing but the best as you continue your preparations for the upcoming NFL draft.
Oh, of course, I appreciate it. You can't forget the Xavier Williams. I mean, he's a D lineman for Kansas City Chiefs, and he got himself that Super Bowl not too long ago. He was underneath Coach Byers' pop too.
Yeah, man, and have you contacted him at all? Do y'all have a relationship?
Yeah, he was out before I was in, but you see him coming in and training all the time and talking to Pop. I mean, you'll see the guys coming in when they're on their downtime, doing some extra training, talking, just appreciating their coaches that were around and just showing the younger guys the way. So you'll see those guys come in and out, and him being back home is something I could reach out and talk to. He's a good kid, and Coach Pop's taught him a lot. So, I mean, you've had a lot of D linemen get their shots at practice team and free camp, invites and all that. So it's all a matter of chances, and I'm willing to take mine.
That's awesome to hear, man. You got a good mentality with you, and I certainly hope that you do get an opportunity in the NFL. So again, Seth, thanks for joining me, man.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.